All right, let's jump right in. In the world of online betting, everything's so fast-paced, right? A bet is literally just a tap away. But underneath all that, there's this quiet but really powerful revolution happening. And no, we're not talking about some new game or better odds. This is something totally different, something that's actually changing how we play.
But before we get to the solution, we gotta understand the problem. And it's this idea of the game inside the game. That personal battle for balance that so many people face.
And I bet this sounds familiar. Picture it. You're in the zone. You're scrolling through odds for tonight's big game. It's fast, it's exciting, and placing just one more bet feels like no big deal. But then, a little nudge pops up, and here's the kicker. That alert isn't even from the betting site.
So that really brings up the big question, doesn't it? I mean, in this digital age where that line between just having some fun and maybe going a little too far gets super blurry, who's actually steering the ship? Is it you, the player, or is it the platform?
For the longest time, it was the house that set the limits. You've probably seen those options, right? Buried deep in your account settings, things like deposit limits or loss limits. Yeah, they were there, but they were so passive. It was the kind of thing you'd set once and then totally forget about.
And what we're seeing now is a huge shift in that whole philosophy. We're moving away from that old, passive, one-size-fits-all model that the provider controlled. Instead, we're moving towards something that's active, it's personalized, and most importantly, the player is in the driver's seat. The power is coming back to you.
So, how is this all happening? Well, it's thanks to this new wave of tech that's, it's kind of like a fitness tracker, but for your betting.
Okay, so what are these things? Basically, they're independent, third-party apps. This is key. They're not tied to any one casino or sportsbook. They just run quietly in the background on your phone or computer, and they keep a log of everything you do across all the different gambling sites you use. So you get this one single unified picture of your habits.
Really? The best analogy, the best way to get it, is this. Think of them like a fitness tracker for your betting. You know how a Fitbit or an Apple Watch gives you that clear, honest look at your physical health? Well, these apps do the exact same thing for your financial wellness by showing you exactly how much time and money you're spending.
And what's cool is they offer different levels of help. You can start small with just simple reminders, gentle nudges. But you can also take it a step further and set hard limits. And that means the app will actually block you from getting on betting sites once you hit a limit you've set for yourself. Some even let you share your activity reports with a friend or a family member, which adds this whole other layer of support.
And let's be super clear about something. This is not about banning anything. The goal here isn't to kill the fun at all. It's about enhancing what they call player agency, which is just a fancy way of saying it gives you the tools and the data you need to stay in charge of your own game.
But, this whole trend is so much bigger than just a piece of software. It's actually a sign of a much wider shift in how we're all starting to think about digital responsibility.
Just think about it for a second. Younger generations, they grew up with screen time alerts on their iPhones and all kinds of digital wellness apps. So for them, the idea of using tech to keep an eye on and manage their own behavior is completely normal. That cultural shift is a huge reason why these tools are taking off.
And it's not just the players. Regulators are taking notice too. In a bunch of places, the authorities are starting to see these independent apps as more than just a novelty. They're seeing them as a legit and effective tool in the bigger strategy to reduce harm from gambling.
Even the industry is starting to evolve. Look, the providers who get on board with this technology, the ones who actually work with these apps and support player choice, they're sending a really powerful message. They're basically saying, hey, we're responsible. We're thinking about the future. And that, right there, is a massive way to build trust with customers.
All right, so what does this all mean for the future? Where is all this heading, as these tools get more common and even more sophisticated?
Well, think about how immersive online betting is getting. You've got live streams, you can make these tiny micro bets in the middle of a game, you can cash out instantly. It's making it easier than ever to lose track of time and money. And because things are getting so intense, the need for these powerful, user-controlled tools to keep things in balance, it's only going to get more and more critical. It's totally possible that in just a few years, we'll look back and think that gambling online without one of these apps is as weird as, say, running a marathon without a fitness tracker. They could seriously become an essential part of every single player's toolkit.
So, we'll leave you with this one last thought.
In an industry that is always chasing the next big thing, right? What if the biggest, most important innovation isn't some flashy new game or a crazy new type of bet? What if it's just a quiet, simple tool in your pocket that helps everyone find a healthier, more sustainable way to play?